Hey everybody, we're fixing to go out here and do episode number 3 of the Ultimate Jugging Series. I'm going to meet Joe Allen and Kevin Sims, and we're going to show you how to throw a cast net, show you how to locate bait, show you how to catch bait. So y'all come along with me. All right, guys, we have this afternoon been out in this river trying to do the Ultimate Jugging episode number 3. Kevin's showing us how to throw a cast net. We went out in the slough, and I'm gonna just kind of let Joe Allen tell y'all it was a little rough out there today, wasn't it, Joe Allen?
Bad. It was white cap. Well, we're above flood stage now. And we got probably 12 to 15 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour wind, and I mean it is not ideal conditions even for catching anything today.
But we did manage to catch a few, and we got some good video, and I'm gonna show it to y'all in a minute. But Kevin, it was a little tough out there, really. The wind was blowing, but we did get you catching a few fish. Talk about the procedure you went through out there in less than ideal conditions today.
Well, this time of year it's just tougher any time because of the shad, the depth they get into. You gotta find them with your electronics. And Joe Allen's about as good as anybody I know that would doing that. And whenever we would find the shad, they were kind of scattered. I don't know if it was the temperature or the front that come through. We couldn't find the really big balls we were looking for. And we'd get a handful of shad every throw. But the wind would affect the net. The wind would affect the throw. It was challenging, but with stand up in the boat and everything. But on the video you'll see that I'm in the back of the boat, and the reason behind that is because the transducer's right there, and we're watching the depth finder. And as soon as we see the ball of shad, we try to get the net in the water, because we was catching shad in 16 to 25 foot of water today. And it takes a while for the net to get down there too.
Well, still, you didn't make but 3 throws, and we had all the shad we could fish all day.
That's right, and that's what I try to make emphasize to people. You don't have to really throw that many times. The key to it is locating the fish with your electronics.
Well, I take that you got to be careful too now, because you could be looking at it and think you got to make sure it's a bait ball and not a treetop.
Yeah.
Because you take a $150, $200 net and throw it into a treetop, that ain't good.
No, you got a mess on your hands.
Now, Kevin, one thing I did notice out there was you were throwing. Talk about the net you were throwing today.
Well, it's an inshore 12-foot net. The lead line is 1 pound per foot. So if you got an 8-foot net on an inshore net, it'll be 1 pound of lead per foot. So that'd be 8 pounds. Well, this is a 12-foot net, so it weighs 12 pounds of lead and probably another 2 pounds of monofilament. So you're talking about you're throwing a cement block, what it amounts to. It's pretty heavy, and that I'm not really in shape right now because I haven't been throwing. You get some fatigue, so you really want to make a quality throw at a quality target. If you don't, you'll give out quick, and it's cold outside, you're gonna get wet. So the fewer throws, the less you're gonna be wet, your clothes be wet. Which today I had on a raincoat.
You don't want to have to take 10 throws because you just slam tuckered out.
Yeah.
That's the reason the less, the targeting the thing is the key, and being right on top of them. And like I said, with him, he can throw it and it opens up real good. Now mine won't open, they'll kind of sag to one side, but just got to open up good, especially in the situation we're at now. Well, like I said, the depth they are, but if it was when it gets a little bit warmer and they come up a little bit higher, you can do the same thing with an 8-foot net, but once them shad are in that 10 or so foot of water, you can do a lot better then. But when they way down the bottom, you got to have the big net.
All right, Kevin, now 12-foot, what's the difference in throwing a 12-foot and a 6-foot net?
Well, on the bigger the net is, the more coils you got to have. And then if you're standing on a pier or if you're standing in the boat, and you got your hardware, your boat, your cleats and trolling motors and stuff like that, you might want to load a little higher, get it up, above your knee. Where if I'm standing on a pier or something, I have that thing just off my feet because it actually will open bigger the deeper you load it. And but whenever you have in the boat, you stand there, you got motors and cleats, so you got to get it a little higher, so it takes a little more effort to get it to spread out as big as it's supposed to spread out. But the the big net, you know, the little nets, 6 foot, 8 foot, 7 foot down, you know, the deep water, you're going to have to be like so pinpointed on it, you're not going to do well trying to catch some shad that deep.
This gives you a better advantage.
That's right. You know, the more area you cover, you know, because your boat's moving, the wind's moving, you know, your trolling motor, you know, today we actually had current in places, you know, with the wind pushing the water. So, you know, you're real time looking at your depth finder, you know, you got to really be particular with it, you know, because it's like happening faster than you probably seeing it.
And this is really a two-man job. You need one person running the boat and looking at the electronics, and one person standing on the back with the cast net.
Yeah, and then like from the front of the boat, we'll do like a little later in the spring, and then through the summer, you'll actually see them, the shad. It may either a big ball right on top, like late in the afternoon. It's like really, really key. You can go in the afternoon, and they'll be right up on top. You know, the fish will be feeding on them and have them push right up to the surface, and they're easy to catch. But if you ain't got to go somewhere where you see a shad blowing through a pipe or a current on it at the powerhouse like that. No, if you see them popping and you see them flipping in the water like that, especially when there's a lot of them doing that, you know, there's not by themselves. There's a ball of them up under there. You know, if you just get right on them, you know, you stand there loaded, ready to go, and you see one pop the water, throw it right on top of them like that. You know, you're gonna be successful right there.
Now, what's the difference in catching them this time of the year when the water temperature up in the sloughs was 58, 59, 60 degrees, and in the summertime when they'll be out in the river then? How do you do that? You know, you ain't got a net that'll go 60 foot deep. How would you do that?
Well, the main thing then, you can sight fish for them then. You don't have to use your electronics as much as you do this time of year, and it makes it a whole lot of, which you know that video we did earlier in the summer. I mean, we saw that ball. Yeah, it wasn't going around with electronics then. You can use your eyes and look for them.
Yeah, we had like 7-gallon bags in one throw.
Yeah, I remember.
They was like there. You know, we had a look one day, and this was something new we had never done. Where you see your river minnows, it'd be like millions of river minnows, and the skipjacks are feeding on them. Like that's like the grail for catfishing and jugging, if you can get your skipjacks, you know. And when them river minnows come to the top, the skipjacks is what pushed them there, you know. And that's some fine bait. They hold up longer and freezing and stuff like that. You know, they don't get as mushy, you know.
That was the reason me and David Reiner did so good on our trip, because we was actually using skipjack that we had caught the weekend before.
Right down below the house.
The main thing was, like I said, what you see us doing, because you'll see us going back and forth slow. And then Kevin, he has to get loaded up, and like I said, the net's heavy, and he has to get in a position where he can rest and not be tuckered out, standing there holding that thing. And then once I get where I see him on that depth finder, I'll tell him to throw. He knows exactly where to throw, because it'll be right behind the transducer. He throws to the same spot every time, right behind the boat. And when I say go, he goes. So
and you was trying to maneuver your boat. I was trying to maneuver my boat, and Kevin was trying to throw the net in 15-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah. So it was pretty tough. But we got some good video, I believe.
Shad that got down with the most of them. I think the shallows we found them today was 16 foot deep, and we had some in 23, 24. And
well, since you have done all the research and you've been in the net shops, the person that's watching this video today that wants to buy their first net, what would you recommend?
I personally would not. I would recommend don't go to Academy Sports, don't go to Bass Pro Shop and buy a $50 net. Those nets, I had to catch fish consistently. You need to buy good fishing equipment. Everybody that's watching this video knows that. You know, you don't go buy cheap rod and reels and cheap line and cheap lures. You know, you buy good stuff. You want to go out and consistently catch fish. But I still would say go to a net shop and buy a quality net, because it will throw better. I had that cheap net I never did get it where I could throw it. You know, and I went and bought a 8-foot offshore net, the first specialty net, I guess, and went down at the beach down toward Go Shore down there at a place called Brunson's Nets. Helpful as people you could see. And they had everything there, and they gave me the information I needed to get. And I bought that net, and I had real good success with it, and I decided I wanted a bigger net. And I went and bought that 12-foot net, and we've caught like a pile of bait with it since then.
But I would think, you know, just starting out, probably just a 4-foot net, you know, and get out in the yard like you did.
Yeah.
And throw, get some videos and watch people throwing. And that's the whole deal, just getting in the yard and throw.
Yeah. And you'll get when you start throwing that net, if you practice and throw the net and get serious about learning how to throw it, then you're going to find something that's different than the way I do it, and it's different than the people on the video, because I don't do it exactly the way the people on the video do it.
That's right. You gotta, it's so many different ways. You gotta feel a way that's comfortable, and you can remember to do it. It's comfortable
That's right.
for you.
It's a repetitive thing. It's like swinging a golf club, casting a spinner bait, throwing a baseball. It's a repetitive thing that you got to learn. Once you find what works, you got to be sure you redo it every time and check your lead line. If you have a lead line that is tangled on your braille line, it will not open. That's when every time you load it, you have to check those things. And in the water, it's not bad. Once you get it the first throw out and you pull it back up, like it really doesn't tangle bad. When you pull it out of the bucket, though, the first time it may be tangled. You got to really check through your lead line and separate every one and make sure that you don't have a lead line that's looped over a braille line. If it's looped over that braille line, it's going to cause the net.
And you're going to show them that in a minute on land. We're going to show that on the video. That's on right. Land.
Well, the main thing that what got Kevin so good at it is because we was down there at the Gulf, and I had him on the front of the boat there trying to catch us some pogies and different things, and he was throwing, and it was sandwiching up every time. And I'm driving the boat. Finally telling him, I said, you get back here in the back, let me throw that thing and catch us some bait. His lip kind of rolled out, and he said, next year, said you watch, I'm gonna throw this thing over the top of your boat, and you got to cut your way out of here.
He learned.
He did shame you a little bit. He did.
All right, boys. Anything else?
I'll tell you this right now, there ain't no way I can throw like he throws now. I mean, I was just he's done really practice at it, and he's got it down now.
How y'all today? My name's Kevin Sims. I'm here with Big Daddy Lawler. I'm on the Mills Ferry, Alabama River. We're finna show y'all how to throw a 12-foot cast net where you can catch shad year-round. First, hook your line over your wrist, over your hand. Thumb up, fingers out. About a 2-foot coil. Keep coiling your line. Get your horn. Oh, this is the horn of the net. Make sure your swivel is unwound. Drag your net back. Get you about shorter than your coil. Whatever you side on your coils, make sure your horn does not go down to the bottom of the coils. If it goes down to the bottom of the coils, it's gonna tangle when you make your throw. Pull back. Go down on my hip. About this much. Over, just like you laid the rope in your hand, just like that. Bounce it. Same thing, come down, get the same coil, just like that. And you want to find the net on this side between your thumb and your pointer finger, right here, over your shoulder, just like that right there. Then you want to divide the lead into 2 equal portions. 1. Then you want to roll the net into your hand, just as so. And your lead line, you want to take your thumb and your first finger and pinch that lead line like that. That's going to be the last thing you release. If your net is properly loaded, you hold it horizontal, just like I'm holding it like that right there. Pull tight. You rotate. All right. Get your lead line in, put your loop in it. I use my left arm, cinch it down on your wrist somewhere tight. You want to coil over your hand. I like to go about that much. Always over your hand every time. Thumb up, cross your fingers. Get all your coils in. You got to catch your horn. Pull your horn up. You want to get all your braille lines pulled in as far as they'll go. Now I come down about 2 feet. Cross your hand, thumb up, fingers out. Come down about to my waist. Right there, coil over, lay it just back, thumb up, fingers out, just like that. Come down, the bigger the net, the more times you have to do it. Come down, about waist, coil it over, Load it in your palm of your hand. Find the line, the net on this side that you're pinching your fingers there. Throw it over your shoulder. Take the inside line, go under the net, half the weight. It's usually around 9 or 10 flips.
What size net is that?
It's a 12-foot inshore net. It's got 1 pound of lead per foot of net. So what, the 10, 12 pounds of lead on here. Get it loaded up, you hold your lead line between this finger. That's the last thing you want to let go. As you start to sling, you start letting go, you hang on to that lead line to the last minute, and you kind of want to toss it to the side, and it'll cause the right side of the net to open up.
Back now.
Ready?
Yeah.
Well, you like to try to start it slow when you start pulling in, and make sure your lead starts to roll in so none of your bait get out. If you pull it too quick, it'll raise it up off the bottom before the net actually closes. Oh, yep, got a few in there.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing.
Cradle line back through the horn.
Can't get it.
Now see, that's enough shad to bait up one round of jugs. Next video, we going fishing.
Jugging.
And we ain't gonna go fishing in no 15-mile-an-hour wind. We're gonna let it warm up a little bit. We're gonna go fishing. We're gonna get some kids to go with us. We're gonna come back here. Joe Allen's gonna show us how to clean and fry up some Alabama River catfish.
There you go.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Big Daddy.
The captain and the deckhand dipping up shad. 15-mile-an-hour wind, white capping on the river, and we out here trying to get y'all a good video.